Good morning, everybody. I know when you're watching it, it's not morning. Well, it's morning here. It's very early in the morning. I'm rooting for Rory McDonald to do well in Bellator. I made a video, the real reason Rory McDonald went to Bellator. It sounds kind of negative. And actually, I mean, in a way it is. But, guys, you will see. I talked about things in mixed martial arts and time passes, and most of the time, I mean literally 9 times out of 10, I'm right about how things pan out. And the reason I say I'm rooting for Rory McDonald is because I was a Rory McDonald fan. That's like if I'm critical of somebody, it's because I do like them. I feel like I wouldn't criticize them if I didn't like them. They would just be insignificant. There's MMA fighters that have been around for years. I've never made a video on them, never even mentioned their name, because I just simply don't care. Now, Rory McDonald, he's somebody I was a fan of. Carlos Condit, another person, I was a fan of him. I was a fan of both these guys. They were two of my favorite fighters years ago. Not anymore. And I think one of the main problems, like I even called Rory McDonald a bust out. That could have been a little bit extreme. I mean, the guy he's a UFC fighter, made it to the UFC. He was supposed to be a lot more, and I think potentially he could have been a lot more. I really think it's his coaching. I mean, these guys, they train these guys, and they have them. You know, like I talked on this before about Carlos Condit. I talked about this in other videos in the past. And look where Carlos Condit is now. You know, I said, look at this guy. I mean, even his name was Carlos the Killer Condit. And you got this guy running around. I mean, it's not conducive to his fight style. And Rory McDonald himself, in an interview with Ariel Helwani that I just saw, this is a current interview, he started talking to himself. Talking about the same topic himself. It's early. It's hard to talk. Saying that, you know what, they got me learning new styles, and I got to try different styles with this type of fighter and use this strategy. He's like, in his own words, I don't know, it wasn't an exact quote, but he said pretty much the same thing. He's like, I need to embrace my own natural style, what's naturally best for me. I mean, every fighter has a natural style. They're going to fight a certain way. They're going to be good at certain things. They're going to be better in some areas than other areas. There are like freak situations where somebody that is terrible in one area can make a complete 360. An example of that is Nick Diaz. When Nick Diaz was originally in the UFC when he was young, he didn't have really any stand-up at all. He was just a jiu-jitsu guy. And, you know, that was just so crazy. That's like, he caught people off guard because they thought they're going in there against a jiu-jitsu guy. And here he started training boxing. He started training boxing, and it seemed like no time passed, but, you know, probably a couple years had passed, and you trained boxing for a couple years, and you go in there. I mean, he boxed up Takanori Gomi, and it was like, whoa. People were like, really? But he didn't always, when he first was in MMA, he wasn't able to do that. But anyway, Rory McDonald, I want to see this guy come in and just annihilate these guys in Bellator. I really do. Get back to his fighting roots. Get hungry. And I mean, there was one fight. What was he fighting? Jake Ellenberger. And Jake Ellenberger is a scary fighter, but he was just standing there throwing just jabs the whole time. And Jake Ellenberger was off his game. Something was up with him that fight. You know, I don't know if he was sick. He had a poor weight cut injury. I don't know. Maybe it was psychological. I don't know. But I mean, you know, he looked like it was just like an off night for him, and Rory should have been able to just knock him out. And he just stood there throwing just jabs, you know. And I know it's his coaching that's telling him to do that, you know. But ultimately, what's that get you? And you know, and you fast forward into the future. Well, I'm not getting paid enough money. Well, yeah, but see, if you had knocked out Jake Ellenberger, maybe you would have got fight of the night and knockout of the night, bonuses. You know what I mean? Now, you how many fans would you have gained? I mean, look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's done great things, but other guys have done the exact same. You know, there's fighters better than Conor McGregor, but he has so many fans because of a lot of his fight style. Yeah, how he talks and everything, but you know, you have to acquire fans to get people to buy pay-per-views and to get people to be excited about you. How are you going to gain fans going in there and doing some, you know, some lame strategy like that? You know what I mean? So it's like they're completely wrong, you know, training these guys, especially guys who are, you know, if you don't have any skills, you know, if you're just some total schmuck, maybe you really have to resort to something like that, you know, to win the fight. But when you're telling somebody to resort to like a terrible strategy like that, a really boring strategy, who's capable of winning the fight in an exciting fashion. Like even in defense to Carlos Condit when he fought Nick Diaz, I kind of really hated him ever since that. Ever since that fight. In defense to Carlos Condit was not capable of knocking out Nick Diaz. He wasn't capable of submitting Nick Diaz. He resorted. I still don't respect him for it. I mean, he could have thrown some kicks or done whatever he had to do. You know, at least go down trying. You know, I guess I blame the judges maybe more for giving him the win for fighting like that. But like, when he wasn't capable, he resorted, he did all he could do. But when you're telling somebody like Rory McDonald who could get in there and finish guys, and you're telling them, it's just the wrong coaching, man. I never liked that whole GSP, TriStar, Greg Jackson. Never liked these guys. And you know, look what's going on now with these guys. You know, they're talking about retirement. They're, you know, leaving the UFC. So anyway, I hope Rory McDonald get away from those fools. Get in and you know, still use your brain, still be smart. But I'd like to see these fighters think for themselves, to be honest with you, because nobody knows your body better than you know your body. You know, go train with people, take things from different people, learn. You know, take people's opinions in, but don't just let somebody just order you around. You're the one. They're not the one in there fighting. You're the one in there fighting. And I think a fighter's natural instinct is a very important thing, and strategy will take that instinct away. And it's not even something that you can train or necessarily even be aware of. It's just your natural instinct, and I think it's really important in fighting. I really do. Anyway, I am rooting for Rory McDonald. I want Rory McDonald to win. I really do. I want him to win in Bellator, and I hope he becomes a better fighter. But man, he's got to get away from some of these idiots that he's been training with. I'll see you later.